Hello everybody, this is Fullyoth and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft on the Just Vanilla server. I want to thank whoever it was who encased me in obsidian actually. First off, I was AFK by the slime farm and logged back on again this morning to find myself in complete darkness and it took me ages to realise that I'd been encased in obsidian. So that was quite funny. So thank you for that. So the last episode we started making a slime farm and I just want to show you the progress I've made since then. So I was going to make it out of green stained clay and we made a cactus farm in order to do that. But since then I've become a bit of an expert on slime. I've done a lot of reading, read a lot of Reddit, watched a lot of videos. And I think now I'd like to think of myself as being a bit of an expert on slime. So let me just talk you through what I've done. First of all, I don't know whether we touched on this last time, but I've got a killing floor which is here made out of magma blocks, and underneath that we've got a minecart rail system. Now, standard slime farms, this is all one chunk, by the way. Let me just get the chunk borders up so you can see it. This is the slime chunk inside this area here. And I've built it slightly wider than that so that big slime can spawn on the outside chunk. If there was a wall here or a drop here or nothing here, then big slimes wouldn't be able to spawn on the outer rim. Therefore, I'd be cutting down the amount of spawn space. It's quite a lot. I don't know the percentage, but all of the outside blocks here would no longer be spawnable, so that would cut out quite a large chunk. So I've made it one block wider. Also, normally slime farms are built with a 3-high gap around the outside, between the platforms to allow the large slimes to spawn in them. Large slimes are only 2.5 blocks tall, but they need space to jump. So if we had a block there, they wouldn't be able to jump, and if they spawn in the middle it would take them forever to get to the outside and they'd probably despawn before they got there. So as I say, normal slime farms have got a gap of 3 between the floors, so the next floor would be there. Now if you did that between every floor, you only have a certain amount of spawning levels before you reach level 40, which is where slime stops spawning at. So I've gone with the slab design. I've made up all of this green stained clay to make the floors out of, and I actually did make the entire farm out of green stained clay before I started doing all the reading. And then I've ripped it all out again in order to make the levels out of slabs, because this gives enough space for the slimes to jump in, but it means I can put them every 3rd level, which considerably increases the amount of spawning platforms I can have in the slime farm. Now also, see every 3rd layer we've got a level. Also, I was lighting this up using sea lanterns in the floor, which to me seemed like a good idea. It gave light, and it also meant that I only had to light one layer every 2, because the layer above would light the level below as well. But it turns out that slime won't spawn on glowstone or sea lanterns. So again, I was using, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, probably even more than that, 10 or 12 sea lanterns on a level to make to light it up, which meant that there were 10 or 12 blocks in the floor where slime couldn't spawn on, which again it cut down the amount of spawning spaces that slimes could spawn on, which per level considerably cut down the amount of spawning spaces. So I've changed to torches, which don't affect slime spawning. Slimes can spawn on a torch, so that considerably increases the amount of spawning spaces available. And I also found out something really interesting about the new algorithms for spawning slimes. Don't start yawning, this is important. The new slime spawn algorithms take into account chunks. Everybody knows what the slime chunk is. Slime chunks go from bedrock up to level 256. But within those chunks there are sub-chunks, and you can see them by the blue lines there. That blue line there is the bottom sub-chunk, which is a 16 by 16 by 16 sub-chunk of the main chunk. And there, that blue line there, is the second chunk, and then there's another one above it. And slimes will spawn below level 40, which means that they'll spawn in the bottom 3 sub-chunks of a slime chunk. I hope I'm explaining this, as I'm starting to glaze over myself actually. Now, when the algorithm calculates where to spawn a slime, it takes into account the topmost level in the spawning chunk that a slime can spawn on. So in this case, if I were to put another level here, that would be in the top sub-chunk. So it would divide the slime spawning between 3 sub-chunks. I'm not making myself clear. Anyway, I've gone far too in depth than I was wanting to. Basically, I've figured out, or I haven't figured out, Ilmango figured out that if you limited the spawning platforms to below the third sub-chunk, to only the bottom 2 sub-chunks, it significantly increased the amount of slime that would spawn. Also, you need to hollow out above the slime chunk in order to stop the... I'm going to stop because I'm boring myself. So I know I'm probably boring you guys. I still don't know whether I need to hollow out above to sky, whether that will work. But at the moment, what I've done seems to be working quite well. I've also gone around and lit up loads of caves, and that seems to be working too. One thing that I can't control that does affect slime spawning rate significantly is the amount of people online. We currently have 6 people online, and spawning rates are okay, but get more than 6 and the slime spawning rates go down to nothing. Right, so I've currently got a few stacks. So my slime farm's working. It's not very pretty. I will go back in again and mess around with the walls. I have got loads of green stained glass. I thought that would look pretty cool on the front. So I went and crafted myself some green stained panes. Oh, that's a disaster. It's a catastrophe. Oh, I'm breaking everything now. Don't mess with things when they're working. So I've got myself some green stained lime green stained glass, and I thought that'd look pretty cool if I put that on there. Put it on there, and I thought, my God, that looks awful. Man, that looks so bad. So consequently, it's come back out again. And my cactus farm that's working, it's not the best cactus farm ever, but it does the job. So anyway, I thought I'd give you an update on where we are on slime farming. It's working. I've got slime. So now I can make sticky pistons, which is what I wanted to use the slime for. Now, the main project for today is, as you know, my storage is pretty pants. I don't really have a storage area at the moment. The chests were put down when we initially got to this area, and they've just expanded, and they're full of crap. And it's in no particular order. So what I want to do is move all of this to a purpose-built storage system facility over there. It's not going to be fully automated. I'm not going to have, item sorters on it. It's going to be a lot of chests in some sort of order where I know where things are. Unlike now, where things are just lobbed in any old chest that was empty. The only chests that I seem to be half using properly, and I'm not even doing that anymore, am I? Look, this crap everywhere, were these two. My stone chest and my wood chest, but I'm not doing that very good at all now either. That was my red stony chest, but again, everything just gets lobbed in everywhere. So yeah, I want to build a massive storage facility over here. It's probably going to be over there somewhere, depending on the amount of space I've got. But to do that, I need loads of wood. I don't want to go outside and farm wood in the dark, scared of the dark. I'm going to make a tree farm, an automatic tree farm, AFK kind of tree farm malarkey. Now, there are loads on YouTube, and I've had a look through most of them, but I don't want to copy somebody else's design. I'm going to try and make my own. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to grab a load of sticky pistons that I can now make, a load of normal pistons, and a few repeaters and whatever, and we're going to make a tree farm over there. Yeah, over there. So I'm going to grab all that, dig a load of stuff out, and we'll make a start. Okay, so I've dug out my area. This is where I want the farm to be, which is not too far from, well, the entrance, really, I guess. It's an arbitrary area, really. I've not picked it for any specific reason. I just decided this is where I want it. So I think we'll start by building it over here. This is where I want to plant my tree. Oh, I've got my haste 2 on, haven't I? Oh, leave it on. Leave it on. What's the worst that can happen? So if we have that there, which is where I'm going to plant my saplings, and I'm going to need a dispenser to dispense my bone meal. And then on top of that, I want to use an observer block to automatically harvest it. And then probably going to need some blocks behind that, aren't I? Here's me trying to get ready and I don't even have any stone blocks. Me all over that is, isn't it? Me all over. And then I'm going to want some piston action going on. Piston action going on behind it. I'm going to sticky piston to pull the blocks away. So let me make some sticky pistons. So I'm going to want a sticky piston there to pull the block away, and then a normal piston there to push it this way out of the way. So let's just get rid of some of that. Little bit there. So when that observer activates, I don't know whether I'm going to be able to use just a bit of dust or whether I'm going to need a repeater there, a comparator there, or a repeater. I'm going to want some. I know I've got some. Well, that's done me. That has. I remember making a boatload of them. Oh, that's because they're in my hotbar. That's why I can't find them. Christ all alive. Right, so we need a repeater there. We're going to need a repeater there. We want this one to fire first, and then that one to fire second. Yeah, is that right? Well, we'll find out. So if there's a, let's put a block there for starters. When the tree grows, it'll cut. Brilliant. It'll cover that block, and then the pistons will come and nick the block and move it. So again, oh, that's fantastic. So all my trees are going to be lined up there. I might put some, well, I will put some pistons there to push all of the trees this way, which is why I've cleared out all of this area, but I can't do that until I've made some more pistons, and to make pistons I need wood, and to need wood I need this tree farm. So let me lob down a few more pistons. I should be using an axe, shouldn't I? I'll lob down a few more pistons there, and then we'll have a look at it in a second. Well, I've stuck a few pistons in then and put a couple of repeaters on the back of them. Doink. Change the delays on the pistons as well. So I've got 5 pistons and I've got 3 layers of repeaters powering the bottom 2 power the first 4 pistons. This one powers the top one. The back pistons run a 1 tick delay. The front pistons run a 2 tick delay. So in theory, the back pistons fire first and pull the logs back, and then those pistons fire and push them out this way. So if we assume, because I'm a big assuming fan, that a tree has just grown there, and I'm going to put this block in and that's going to complete it. This should work. It did, but why is that? Did that break a block then? Brilliant. So that's working fantastic. There's going to be leaves everywhere, I know, and I'm going to have to mess about a little bit. Now we need to hook up the bone meal dispenser to bone meal all of our trees. So I'm going to go down to the Skelly farm, grab a load of bone meal, grab a load of bones anyway, turn it into bone meal, and then we'll set up some kind of probably pressure plate. I know everybody seems to be using switches. I don't want to use a switch. I would just want to be able to walk up and off it goes. So we'll probably use a pressure plate with a bit of wiring underneath it. Let me go and grab some gear and we'll have a look in a minute. Right, so I've got my pressure plate, which I want. I was going to put it, well, I was going to put it there, but I'm going to need a hopper feeding that from a chest. So I can't put it there, otherwise it'll power the hopper. So we're going to have to put it here and stand a little bit further back, aren't we? And I need that to run into some kind of comparator clock. So if we do that, and put that in subtract mode, that creates a bit of a clock. Yeah. Gonna need it. Gonna need a repeater then, aren't I? Just hope it can keep up with the clock. Bit of a delay, but yeah. So now, in theory, that's not using bone meal, by the way. It only uses bone meal when there's something there to bone meal. And because there's nothing there to bone meal yet, it's not using bone meal. Right, we'll grab some saplings and give this a go. Have I got enough room above it? Oh, I have. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's only gone and worked. Oh man, I'm dead excited. This take a hell of a lot of bone meal though, didn't it? I'm gonna... Alright, leaves everywhere, but we'll sort that out. We'll get some pistons up there to sort it out. This is brilliant. I couldn't be any more chuffed actually. Oh, I can't put anything in front of me. Going to need something there to stop leaves growing in front of me as well, otherwise that could stop me AFKing around here. Well, I can't complain about this. I am pretty chuffed actually. How far will it go? Will it go all the way down the end? I know pistons can only push a certain distance. I think it's 12 blocks. Right, so it won't push any further. So that's as well. I got it right. It's as far as it'll go. Brilliant. I'm going to dig out these trees and plant a few more. Then we're going to get some pistons, and I'm going to put a load of pistons on that back wall to start pushing all the logs this way. But I'm probably going to have to replace the floor and put a load of lighting in it, because what I don't want is obviously mobs spawning down here. Hey, I'm really pleased. And we'll sort these leaves out as well. Hopefully get some saplings back by breaking them. But yeah, let me craft some pistons, get a wall up, and we'll get some redstone put behind it. Hey, brilliant! I'm dead chuffed. Right, so I've got the pistons in, and we've had our first creeper attack. I was over here putting some pistons in. Psst, turn round, kablooey! Right behind me, took me down to half a heart. Man, I've crapped myself, and I don't know where he came from because I thought this place was lit up. I've been around. I've spammed a few more torches down. Hopefully they won't come back again. But I've stuck the line of pistons in over the back now, and I've extended. You can't see, but I've extended the line of redstone with some repeaters down the back, so they fire after 4 ticks now. So we'll give it a go. I've also filled up a little bit more bone meal. It goes through bone meal like you would not believe. But I've got a farm over there. I'm going to be spending a lot of time over my skelly farm, I guess. So we'll give it a go. So I'm holding down right click now. Okay, come on. I'm going to have to do something to get rid of these. Get rid of those leaves, aren't I? Have I got some signs? Yeah, I've got some signs. Let's try putting a few signs up there. Hopefully that will stop leaves growing in my face and stop me from AFKing, right. Okay, so it's gonna get through bone meal like you wouldn't believe, but it's working. It's working. Fantastic. Now I don't know how many saplings I'm going to get back. It's probably not going to be very many at the moment, if any. Oh, this is brilliant. We'll do one more. You want to see the smile on my face. Fabulous. That is brilliant. So it's going to keep pushing them out until it reaches 12 blocks. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's going to keep pushing them out till it reaches here. And then when it does that and it can't push them any further, it'll push them over to the next line, and the next line will push them all the way out, and then so on and so forth until it fills up this entire area with oak. And now I don't know, I'm not going to do the maths, but I'm sure it's quite a few. I'm put in the comments below if you want to how many oak logs I'm going to get in here before the thing stops working. When it does fill up completely up to here, I'm going to have to put some mechanism in that stops it. Otherwise, if I'm AFK here, I've got a sapling over there. If I'm AFK here planting saplings and it fills up, it's just going to block up and completely wreck the plate. Well, it's not going to wreck it, it's just going to make a lot of noise and stop working. And I'm already out of bone meal. Crikey. So that's done. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks of bone meal to get this many trees. But anyway, I'm going to chop these trees down now. I'm going to put a floor in it. I was going to make it out of wood, but obviously I can't make it out of wood because if I've got a half decent axe, when I start going through these logs, I'm going to go straight through the floor. So it's going to have to be out of stone and either glowstone or sea lanterns. I think I've got enough sea lanterns to start with. I'm probably going to put some sea lanterns in the roof as well and extend that roof out. And I'll do that. Probably put in a few pistons. This is brilliant. Look at that. I'm never going to be short of wood again. Brilliant. Put in a few pistons over here. So when those pistons fire, these pistons fire. And hopefully that will get me some saplings. because if I'm stood here planting, I may as well be collecting saplings while I'm doing it. So I'll do that, and then we'll have a final look at it before we call it a day. So there it is, my semi-automatic tree farm. Finally finished it. I put. It seemed a shame to let the green stained clay go to waste, since I'd made loads of it for the slime farm, then never got around to using it. So we put that on the floor there. With maybe I'll do a bit of wood in there to signify that it's a woody kind of build. But I can't put too much wood in, as I say, because with a decent axe I'm going to go straight through it. And I put some lighting in the ceiling. Now this, in theory, is going to get completely full up with wood. So I've had to put a few lights down here as well. I don't know whether to block off that bit. I'm going to do something with the wall, if nothing else. Maybe put some chests in there for storage, because I am going to have a bit of wood, but maybe I'll just come here and AFK when I need it. I don't know yet. I put a chest in with a hopper leading into the bone meal dispenser, with a comparator on the back of it, so it lights up when the chest is empty, not when the dispenser is empty. So at least it gives me a bit of warning. But at the moment I've got no bone meal anyway, so I can't show you it working because I've got no bone meal. But you'll have to trust me. It grows, it gets sucked in by those sticky pistons, it gets pushed along and then gets pushed out here. I've added those pistons as well, so hopefully they'll break leaves and I'll get a decent amount of saplings. Otherwise I'm going to have to go off and get saplings the old-fashioned way, which sort of defeats the object really of having a tree farm. But anyway, that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, everybody. If you have, please don't forget to leave it a like. It really does mean a lot. And if you've really loved it, please subscribe for future videos. This is Frillioth in the new tree farm, and I'm out of here.